Hey everybody, Ryan here from Rhino Hockey Channel. Alright, I know it's been kind of crazy. I haven't been doing a whole lot of videos lately. I'm having twins in about 2 months, so I've been getting baby room ready, mixed with the holiday. It's been kind of busy last few weeks, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to get back to doing these more often. Alright, today I'm going to do two videos, but this is the first one. This one is the Detroit Red Wings season review. Alright, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when I drop a new video. Alright, let's get started. Alright, Detroit was not a team that came into the season with high expectations. Honestly, I think they did better than I think most people expected. I don't know many people, if anybody, who really had high expectations for them. If you did, why? I just want to know why in the comments. Please tell me. I know if it's your team, I know. Trust me, I had held out hope that the Ducks would have a better season than they did. And they disappointed horribly, but that's also because I'm a fan and you're, of course, going to hold your team at a higher standard, whether they're terrible or not. So, I don't think anybody outside Detroit picked them to do well. They started out better than I think anybody expected, especially Bobby Ryan, but we'll get to that. Alright, this is how their season went. They finished 19, 27, and 10, 48 points, and they were 27th in the league. Now, you may say, how's that doing better than expected? I think most people expected them to finish somewhere around 30 or 31st. And they did better than I think most people thought. So, their power play is what killed them, but that's a lot of the teams at the bottom of this list. 30th out of 31 with 11.4% on the power play. I think only the Ducks did worse. Yes, only the Ducks did worse. Of course, my team. Why it had to be my team. Alright, moving on from my sadness. Penalty kill percentage, they were 78.7%. Good enough for 22nd out of 31. Still not great, not the worst, but still not great. Their goals for definitely is what hurt them. 2.23%, or 2.23 on average goals per game, which is good enough for 30th out of 31. Once again, I believe my team being the bottom there. Ugh, come on, Ducks. Anyways, definitely what killed them this year is the offense was not good enough. And a 3.00 on exactly a 3 goals against average per game. So, for those who are not great with math, which there are many out there, is nothing to be ashamed of, scoring 2.25 goals per game, basically, and allowing 3. You're losing by 3/4 of a goal a game, on average. So, they were bad enough for 12th out of 31, which in this case, the higher the number, the worse it is for goals against. So, 12th, not the worst out of any of these teams we've gone over so far. And not going to be the best out of all we're going over either. They scored 125 goals and allowed 168. Their goaltending, honestly, was not terrible. Their defense is what is terrible. And honestly, I felt bad for Thomas Greiss. Brought over from the Islanders, where he was very good. He was very good for Detroit too, but they just didn't have the defense in front of him that he had in the Isle. So it took him forever to get a win. Alright, key injuries during the season. Dylan Larkin missed the last, I'd say, about quarter of a season. So, I mean, that was the only major injury they had. I mean, Mantha just did not play up to his potential before the trade. So, that's probably part of why they did the trade. But they got someone good in Jakub Vrana, so he played very well for him when they acquired him. Alright, upcoming UFAs. You got Bobby Ryan, who, if he also was injured for most of the year. I forgot to put him on that list for some reason. He was injured the last half of the year, and he had a very good start to the season. He cooled off before the injury, but he played well. He really did. But he's the upcoming UFA. Sam Gagne, Valtteri Filppula, I always say it wrong. But he is someone who has been with Detroit a couple times and for extended periods. And honestly, he's at the end of his career, so I'm not sure if he's going to go anywhere. He may stay in Detroit another year, maybe, but I don't see him going much. I mean, maybe Europe. I can see him going to Europe to finish out his career. Luke Glendening, a guy I think a lot of people expected Detroit to trade, and they didn't. So he may sign somewhere. I mean, he'd be a good depth forward. Darren Helm, towards the end of his career, same with Mark Stahl. Not sure they're going to go anywhere. Alex Biega, depth defender. Oh, wait, is he defender or is he forward? I can't remember. He doesn't play that much. Jonathan Bernier, he definitely will probably be signed somewhere. He had a decently good year for Detroit, considering the team in front of him. And yes, Henrik Zetterberg is finally a UFA. He's not going to play anywhere. He's retired. Been for a couple years now. His contract's just finally up. All right, upcoming RFAs. You got Adam Ernie. Yeah, I think they'll keep him, and he'll be cheap enough. He's not going to be super expensive. Yakov Vrana, I think, will get a pay raise. Not a huge one, but he will get one. Evgeny Svechnikov, he may get a bit of a pay raise, not a whole lot. Michael Rasmussen looked pretty good towards the end of the season, so he might get a little bit of one. Matthias Brome, I honestly didn't even know who that was. I did not get to watch many Detroit games this year, so yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's one of the higher prospects for him, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Christian Juice, I think he'll get a bit of a pay raise. Phil Hronik, their top scorer. Did I go over that? I did not yet. Okay. That's after this. Alright, Phil Hronik, their top scorer this year. Definitely going to get a pay raise. Dennis Cholowski, he will be probably getting one. Gustav Lindstrom and Tyler Bertuzzi definitely wants one. I still can't go. There was a video on YouTube the other day talking about someone wanting Tyler Bertuzzi, and they accidentally, I felt bad. I wanted to point out, but I didn't want to be a jerk. But they put Todd Bertuzzi instead of Tyler Bertuzzi, which I find kind of funny. It's like, oh, living in your family member's shadow there, huh? All right, terrible contracts. They got Franz Nilsson and Danny DeKeyser. DeKeyser, they tried to trade this last year. They even put him on waivers, seeing if somebody would just take him. Nobody wanted him because he's basically just playing in the minors at this point. But he's got $5 million through 2021-2022, and Franz Nilsson $5.25 through next season as well. He's just past his time and probably won't get picked up by anybody without Detroit taking half of that at least. Or no, at most, that's all they can take is half. So you may have Detroit trade him to another team that takes half, like you saw the trade deadline, like maybe trade him to San Jose, who takes half of what his remaining half is, and then someone else may take him. But I'm not sure he's going to provide the offense they used to or the play he used to, so I'm not sure anybody's going to do that. Outside of maybe like 4 teams taking half of his contract, so somebody pays him like $50,000. I can't say anybody really truly wants out of Detroit. Lots of players want to play for Detroit, even though they're a bad team right now. But it's Detroit. They want to play there. That's just how it is. I'm not sure. No offense to those who live in Detroit. Not sure how many of them actually live in Detroit. But a lot of them live on the suburbs out there, so I'm sure. But Detroit, definitely a team that people want to play for. Classic team. Who doesn't want to play there? I mean, look at the teams they put up in the past. It's kind of like the 80s all over again for Detroit fans. Sorry, Detroit, but it took you going through the 80s to get to the 90s when you started being good. It takes that. When you're in rebuild, and they are 100% in a rebuild. All right, top scorer and top goalie from the season. Like I said, Phil Hronik, top scorer, 2 goals. Yes, our top point getter had 2 goals and 24 assists. For 26 points. That's just as disappointing as the Ducks. Actually worse, honestly, as a defender. Actually, I think even the Ducks had a 30-point guy. They did not in Detroit. Jonathan Bernier was the top goalie, 9-11-1. Not terrible stats, honestly. 914 save percentage and 2.99 goals against average. If he had a better defense in front of him, I bet you those numbers would have been far better. That's why I can see someone picking him up. He could be a very good backup goalie for some teams. Like if Tampa could get the cap space, could you imagine Vasilevsky if they had Bernier picking up like 20 games a year and Vasilevsky playing the rest? I mean, Vasilevsky was a beast this year, played pretty much every game during the regular season and every playoff game. And he still won the Conn Smythe. Can you imagine him if he's rested? How good he'd be? Oh. Alright, upcoming draft for Detroit. They have the number 6 overall pick, the number 23, so 2 first rounders. They have number 38, 48, and 52. They have 70, 94, 102, and I wrote this out before the finals were over. Tampa's 4th round pick, which would be 128, 134, 138, and 166. So 2 firsts, 3 seconds, 5 picks in the first 2 rounds. That's a pretty good chance of getting at least one of those being very good, and possibly 2, because number 6 should be a decently good player. Because this is a top-heavy draft. The top talents are about in the top 12, and then you have the ones that are more projects after that. So Detroit's been always very good with project players. Of course, in the last few years, not as good. Michael Rasmussen, if he starts developing better, could be a very good project player, but their drafting has not been great. But I think with Yzerman up there now, last year and this year, I think they'll start turning out more players. Because, I mean, look at what he did with Tampa. 2 straight cups with those guys that have been playing together since the minors. Gotta say he did well. Unfortunately, his name will not be on that cup with him. But he had more to do with this team's success last 2 years than their current management, honestly. Other than their current management acquiring the players that did a trade deadline, of course. But a lot of the guys were drafted by Yzerman and his team of people who are very good at finding these players. Alright, future outlook. As of now, it looks like this team is in a rebuild. Definitely, I wouldn't even say looks like. They are definitely in a rebuild. I think I was being generous. But they are definitely in a rebuild. So I'd say about 2 to 3 seasons at least. Probably more till they're competitive. As long as guys develop properly and in a timely manner, they could be competitive as early as 2 to 3 years from now. Now, will that come to fruition? I don't know. Because, I mean, you look at Maurice Sider. Everybody was shocked when Yzerman picked him as early as he did 2 years ago. And that kid looks like he's going to be a beast. So it's looking like it's going to be a strong pick. So we'll see. They've been sheltering him so far, letting him develop, which could be extremely good for his development and could make him a far better player. So we'll see. But I mean, why are you licking a plastic bag, cat? God, sorry if you hear that in the background. My cat is licking a plastic bags. Oh, so weird. Anyways, they have a lot of good young talent that has a lot of good potential. So we'll see, and they have good picks this year, so they could build some more. Alright, that's all I got for you for this one. I will go more in depth into that future stuff when I do the season previews this year. So look out for those. Well, we'll see. Because season should start about October if it's normal. And my twin girls are due in mid-September, so I'll try and get those done before then. So I may not have all the details that are up to date by those videos, so I'm sorry ahead of time, but I already have one girl who's about going to be 3, and now I'm having 2 more, so it's going to be crazy here pretty quick for me. So I'm sorry if I drop off for a bit, but it's for good reason, I promise. I will try and do videos still. We'll see how much time I have. Alright, other than that, that's all I got for you. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure to hit that notification bell, and I will see you all next video. Bye, everybody.